The third eye is a mystical occurrence that opens one's mind through meditation and a universal understanding. And that's where Prince felt he was in the mid-90s at that stage in his career. The combination of his recent emancipation and his finding new religion, he began to see the world in a new way and started to, dare I say it, regret the way that he conducted his life up until then. I really love this song because you'd never get any of that from the lyrics, really, unless you dove deep and really dissected it with your own third eye. Good thing that we have my Wordplay series to help out with this. Let's break down Prince's third eye. Yeah! Hey everybody, welcome back to Prince's Friend, exploring music through Prince. Today we have a wordplay for you. We're going to be going over Third Eye, which is one of my favorite songs off of The Truth that we just recently did a review of. This is, of course, my take on the song. I feel like this song in particular off of The Truth has a lot of different ways that you could kind of interpret it. So this is kind of how I interpret it, again, from a storyteller kind of standpoint. Like, I'm always looking for the story in any song that Prince is telling. I mean, very seldom did he ever write a song that was, I am happy or I am sad. It was always like, I am sad because this thing happened and I'm using this weird kind of wordage so that you kind of get the idea and you feel the same emotions that I'm feeling. So I feel like Third Eye is a very good example of that. Before we dive into it, don't forget to hit like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell notification so you always know when Prince's Friend puts out a new video. Also, consider becoming a YouTube member or patron. Those links are in the description. Alright, verse 1, let's get into it. Using a special code, he accessed his mind in search of the reason why. In passion and fashion, he began traveling time. Third eye, third eye, third eye. This is actually an amazing intro to this song, because it's like the most roundabout, most expressive way to say, hey, I was sitting and meditating about the past. And the way he's saying it, it's like he's also meditating, trying to figure out where he is, where he was, where he's going forward. And the time traveling part is almost like he is going into his past and kind of almost looking at it like a lucid dream, which is what a lot of people describe meditation and again, accessing that third eye is like. And I've been doing like a lot of songwriting research and stuff, and I'm just like, I keep going back to Prince's music, and I'm just like, he was such a great songwriter. And you know, a lot of people give him credit for the songwriting, like the musical part, but not a lot of people give him a ton of credit on his lyrics, because his lyrics can be real deep. Second verse is, the serpent approves, and then appears between Adam's thighs. He tries to release upon Eve the nectar, the injector tries. He tries, he tries, he tries. And this is kind of interesting too, because I always thought that it was the enchanter tries, but looking at the lyrics on multiple sites, it's the injector tries, and I'm like, wait, what? So that honestly kind of puts things a little bit even more into a weird kind of wording here. But from what I get from it, Prince is using a biblical framing here for his own life. He's bringing us back to the Garden of Eden of his career and his being. The serpent is, the devil. He himself is both Adam and Eve, because we've had that discussion before. He is 50% man, 50% woman, and he's always thought himself that way. But the serpent is the devil, and it takes physical form as Adam's penis.
Oh my God, he's gone mad.
And tries to, enchant everybody kind of around them. Basically using sex to reveal the truth. And the phrase, oh my God, and the phrase, he tries to release upon Eve the nectar. That's an interesting way to say that. I really, really love that, because if the snake is your penis and it's releasing nectar, we all know what releasing of that nectar is. But Prince was also using the word nectar. He could have tried to fit venom in there somewhere, but if nectar is what actually comes out of the snake, to me that means that at least there's good intent there. If he had given in to his snake and was releasing venom out there, then it would be more like, ooh, you are evil doing evil things, but if you're kind of doing the wrong thing, but you're doing it with like good intention, then that maybe is why it's nectar and not venom. Because again, like for me, I feel like wordplay is really, really important here. Now, yes, obviously nectar rhymes with injector, but he could have also chosen a different word than injector if he had gone with venom. But for me, inject also means like that's like a bite, like a snake bite. So, you know, it's the snake is kind of going and like biting people and kind of latching on like this. His use of sex is so strong, it's injecting itself into everybody, and he feels like it's nectar, but yeah, maybe it's not. Going into the next part, it says, so abduction complete, all stand on their feet and look at one another and cry. So Prince has fallen under the sway of the spell of the devil, kind of making him do all of this, you know, sexiness and really trying to, and giving kind of the wrong message that he needs to appeal to people through sex and cussing and all of these things. And he used all of that to kind of carry his career until right now he's making the decision to really kind of no longer do that. Remember, this is around the time that he was adopting, you know, the Jehovah's Witness doctrine. He had stopped cursing, he had stopped being overly sexual. In his song Don't Play Me, he even has the line, I'm putting my ass away. But now in Third Eye, he's actually looking at the mass of people who follow him and saying, wow, like not only was I kind of led astray, but I have also kind of led all of you astray. And we see this with a lot of people in our community, but there are a lot of people who almost look at Prince like Prince is God. And if I was that person who was trying my darndest to give the message of follow God, love God, all of these things, but people turned it on its ear and it became more about me than it did about God, then I would probably be like, wow, maybe I've been doing this all wrong. So then we get to the next part. And I want to say real quick that one of the things I really like about this song too is that it does not have a chorus. I love songs that are outside the norm. They don't have choruses. They do something different. I dig this song quite a bit because of that. The next part is, what have we done? Could this be the fun on the dotted line for which I did sign? Oh yeah. So he sees now the problem with his messaging. It made him the focus instead of God. So he's wondering, what has he done? This isn't as fun as it used to be. Because even though he had good intent, he's now older, wiser, and he's realizing that he did it wrong. The next part is, in self-pity so dark, this shitty and stark, realization is all that will soothe. So now he knows that only by acknowledging this fact and kind of moving forward with the knowledge that it was all his fault and now he needs to correct that, he can now kind of start leaving a more godly mark on the world. And I do have a friend of mine who actually got to meet Prince a few times, as a matter of fact. But he told me a story, and I'm not going to divulge who he is just in case, but he told me the story of how he and a bunch of his friends all kind of went to Paisley. He was there with one of his friends was just like really like geeking out super hard. And she was just like, oh my God, you know, I love you. You're so great. And he's just like, well, thank you. You know, I love you too. You're great. And she goes, no, you don't even understand. Like, you're like a god to me. And what I got from my friend is that he basically took her into another room and had like a 40 minute Bible study with her. From stuff that I've heard from, say, like Morris Day's memoir and other stories that I've heard of people who were kind of around Prince around this time, kind of into the early 2000s. But like he was like in the religion real hard, and he would love the opportunity to fill your ears with all of the religious doctrine. And, you know, by saying he is a god, that is the easiest way to invite yourself to one of those sessions, and left everybody there. Like, that was the funny thing. Like, he said, excuse us, and pulled the girl into the other room and just left everybody else there. So like nobody else got to be that. It was all for her. And then when they came out, everybody was cool. She was chill. And he was just like, cool, let's play some music and let's have some fun now. And then he actually kind of like told a little bit more about the story of how he did feel like he was kind of doing it wrong and how he was trying to make amends for that. knowing a little bit about that story actually did kind of give me a little bit more insight into this song itself. So the last part of the song is ultimately the only one who can save you is you. Your God is inside, and for that God, you will do whatever it takes. If nothing else is true, the only one that can save you is you. So basically, that's the moral of the song. The rest of the song was Prince kind of leading us to this concept and really hammering it home of why this is important. Don't look at him as a god. The God is inside you, and you're the only one who can make the decision to go to that God. He can't save you, but you can save yourself. So of course, again, breaking down lyrics of Prince songs is kind of what we do here in Wordplay, and I may branch out, maybe do other artists, but like I'm having a lot of fun doing Prince songs right now. But even if you take out like the really cool acoustic riff that the whole song is built on, the lyrics really deliver a really huge punch that should be able to keep almost any listener engaged. Because I feel like Prince really employed some expert lyric writing here that I hope to like one day be this good. But I really think that the crown jewel of Third Eye is the fact that this song specifically is the opposite approach from how he had kind of done the rest of his career. In the past, he would write songs about God, but he would kind of veil it with sex and risque things and kind of upping himself. But on Third Eye, the song is actually about himself, but is outwardly talking about biblical references and God first and foremost, which is, I think, where he really kind of wanted to be at this stage in his career. But that's kind of my breakdown of Third Eye, but I really want to know what you guys think about this. And if you haven't checked out the last Wordplay that I did, don't forget to check that one out. It is for the song June, and it was a whole lot of fun to do. But I want to continue the discussion down in the comments. Also, don't forget to hit us up on social media. That's at PrincessFriendYT. Consider becoming a patron or a YouTube member. Those links are down in the description. And of course, shout out to all of my patrons, but especially my newest patron, Lisa Brown. Welcome to the fold. Hopefully you've been enjoying all that exclusive material like bloopers and all that stuff. I posted a bunch of like bloopers from our Grammy conversations, and it's been a ball. Otherwise, may you live to see the dawn. I love you all.